This
Okay.
conference will now be recorded.
We will start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. If we have a quorum, I will open this public hearing. Would you like to read?
Sure. Please take notice that the Lake Placid Village Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, December 19, 2022, in person at North Melbourne Town Hall, 2693 Union Street, first floor, Lake Placid, New York, and via GoToMeeting at 4:45 p.m. to consider a local law extending the temporary moratorium on new short-term rentals in Lake Placid Village. You may join in person or via GoToMeeting. A link will be provided by end of day Friday prior to the meeting. It will be the same link as for that day's board meeting. The complete text of the proposed local law is available for inspection by any interested person on the Lake Placid Village website, www.villagelakepplacid.ny.gov. All interested persons are invited and will be given an opportunity to be heard. Signed, Anita Anthony Essling, Village Clerk.
Okay. Would you like to?
I would love to. I think I've spoken to most of you. So I recently just purchased a house on Acorn Street.
I'm sorry, could you state your name?
I'm Angela Holly.
Oh, thank you.
And I was hoping that maybe with the extension of the moratorium that you guys could consider not allowing hosted rentals as part of that, and that they could get permits again. So with my house on Acorn Street that I just purchased, it was an Airbnb. It's all ready to be rented, and I had to do, like in order to purchase it, it was considered an investment property. So I was required to put 20% down. They had to do a special assessment on it to prove the income, and I can't rent it. So it would be great if they were allowed and the moratorium was not extended for hosted rental. So,
Why would they list it as investment? Who's they?
so with, I think it was the county that it's listed as an investment property because it's a 2-family home. So I wasn't allowed.
Residents.
Yeah, it's not a single family residence. So like even the bank had to do, like when they did the appraisal, they had to find somebody in the area and they had trouble even getting somebody that could prove the income on it.
It's not a single family, there's 2 residents.
Yeah, and it was an Airbnb, and so the permit was just not allowed to be transferred. So it was, it was really important to me to move into I'm next door neighbor to Mark. So it would just be great to get a permit on it.
Okay. Well,
And I think I'm the only one in the village right now. I know there is somebody else in the town that, is looking to get a hosted rental permit, but it's just hard with the moratorium because we can't get a permit.
Okay. Well, thank you for your comment. I see we have a person called Private. Did you have any question or a comment you'd like to make?
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay. There won't be much more time. We'll probably be closing the public hearing, so probably at a future date is what you're talking? Okay. Lauren, did you have any questions or anything you'd like to add?
No, thank you.
Okay. Okay. No. If I'm not mistaken, we usually have to wait a certain amount of time. Am I allowed to run to the bathroom?
Yes, yes, you may.
Teacher.
Student Mark, somebody probably from Rochester.
Yes, Mark Sherrill. Yeah, he figured it all out. Yeah. He's okay.
He's okay.
And then he's on the backside. We're like one up And then the one in front called too, just to confirm.
Is this Northwood?
No, this is Mirror Lake Drive. This is, they're in Village Center.
He called me too. I told him to talk to him this week. You
Mm-mm.
already talked to him?
I think he called out too. I think he called me first and made sure he had everybody's numbers and I pointed to the website.
There's nothing to talk, he's okay.
Okay.
He didn't know he was okay.
He didn't know, that's correct. He didn't know
Yeah,
where he wanted to be.
He said something about it wasn't school road, so I maybe that's where.
No, it's Garden Way. There is an old map or a different map that's used for another purpose that people seem to be going to on the village's website. And in his location, where his house is, it's white with no legend. So that's why he was concerned. So I sent him the link to the town's website
Okay.
where he saw exactly where he was.
Do you want me to take off that map?
I don't know what it is.
I'm not sure either.
I don't know if it's just like maybe the village outline and everything is white. I don't know. He said I'm white. And I go, okay, I don't know what that
Is this on
means.
that STR rentals page?
He did not know where he was.
Because Kate might have set that up, but I will look into it.
I tried looking on it on my phone. You can't.
Mhm.
I missed.
Fox 44 was in town today.
What are they doing?
Who was?
Fox 44 interviewed me about the festival
Oh,
next month.
the Main Street.
And I was able to direct him to Katie Wilson too. I was like, I haven't been able to get a hold of anybody. John Windings and Buffalo.
And the torch one.
So I bet you I can call Katie, and she answered. She was on Main Street at the Gap Building.
Oh, that's good.
Perfect.
I have not seen the Cauldron yet. Is everyone?
It's cool.
That's
You know what?
I haven't seen it lit though.
I haven't seen it.
During the day.
Do they light it or is that going to happen
Oh,
just for the
yeah, I didn't think
ceremony?
about
Probably
that.
just,
They-
it doesn't get lit until
Right,
daylight.
that
They're gonna
makes
run,
sense.
when the turbine comes, they're gonna do
Oh.
a test run, which I'm sure will be under the cloak of darkness that nobody sees this,
3 a.m.
right?
Is it looking like something that maybe found a permanent home or is it too early to say?
The torch, the cauldron, no, hasn't found a home.
No, I mean, is it looking like something we as a board will?
I've gotten a couple of mixed feedbacks. I've gotten yes, and I've gotten as many yeses as I've gotten nos.
Sounds like I have.
Yes,
Well, and the other thing too is leave it there till summer for sure. And people maybe will grow used to it or.
I wonder if the scaffolding will stay though. That's what I don't like.
What's the
Yeah, I
point
don't
of the
like
scout?
well, the point of the scaffolding was
Keep
that
people off it, right? Or no, just the drape.
the drape, it was
How
the
come
drape.
that's still there? You know?
They've also got stanchions around it, so maybe that's part of it too.
Or did UPS Sean talk to you? I was like, I'll talk to her first.
About what?
The loading zone signs being blocked by the trees.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, the one by Imagination Station. You can't see it, like if you're driving up, you can't see the loading zone sign, and now that there's snow on the road.
Well, you can't
people are
see the
parking there.
markings.
And then the one down at Margie's, the arrow's pointing in the wrong direction.
Well, that's not my fault.
Well, no, the trees blocking the other sign there, so.
Next year, we'll put smaller pots and smaller trees.
You see any smoking signs?
I don't think so either.
Yeah, the timing isn't on the loading zone yet, so I don't think.
No, you're right. There, it just says loading zone.
This is loading zone.
That's it.
What says the time?
No, it doesn't.
Not the ones by me.
6 to 2.
Not,
All the ones by me, it says 6 to
Oh,
2.
really?
First they put the 6 to 3 ones out, and then they didn't have.
I've
6 to
only
2
seen
next
loading
day.
zone. I haven't seen any times.
Maybe they didn't make it up the street. Yeah.
Further south, it says 6 to 2.
So do they or don't?
I don't know. I've seen,
Mine
I've
definitely
seen,
don't.
no.
Even-
Well, because yesterday when I was parking on Main Street, I saw a loading zone. I'm like, oh, it doesn't have any times on. But it was more towards you.
Yeah. You know if yours has times on it?
I will leave. I haven't
I don't think I noticed
I've
times
been
on yours
avoiding
either.
Main Street since I saw somebody parking like diagonally in front of like the movie theater. I'm like, snow makes people crazy.
Is Janet?
But I'll have to look.
She reminded me it was at 4:45, so she was kind of late.
Sorry, where was the other? Imagination
So
Station.
gentleman just got on, maybe he wants to.
In front of Margie's.
Mr. Goldschmidt, were you calling to comment during the public hearing? Okay, we can't hear you, but
It doesn't look like he's muted either.
Which arrow was the wrong way?
The one at Margie's. It points to,
Nope,
Movie
still
theater.
can't hear you. Katie, can we hear you?
yeah, we can, because remember we spoke with her, we spoke with Lauren, we spoke with Private.
Yeah, I think, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just to test it.
And we can see you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Mr. Goldschmidt, if you'd like, you could call in. Would that help? Do we want to give him a number? Any of them mind?
I mean, if you want, otherwise I could look up the dial and,
Oh, okay, that's a good idea.
Isn't it?
it's not there because it wasn't.
Oh, it's not?
It
Okay.
wasn't,
Okay.
we didn't have it yet when we announced the meeting.
I think I have the dial-in here if you're ready, and I can put it in the chat, I think, as well, if that's available, which is 1-872-240-3212.
Mr. Goldschmidt, you want to try again?
Can you hear me?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Oh, thank you.
Good. Did you want to make a public comment about the moratorium extension?
No,
Okay.
just wanted to listen.
Okay,
We had one public comment, now we're just waiting before we close out the meeting.
okay. Janet, did you have any comments on the moratorium extension?
No.
Okay, so if
Very
that's,
straightforward.
okay, so if that's the case, then this plan, we need a motion or I just close it? Okay, then we'll close the public hearing on the moratorium extension. Okay, and considering it is now 5 o'clock.
Sorry, I couldn't find my car keys.
Right where you left it.
Yes, they.
Okay, at this point, we will call the meeting to order. Do we have? do we do another pledge?
No, I think we already did it.
So we have done pledge of allegiance. Okay. Starting with clerk order, or clerk item, local law number 6, which is to extend the moratorium. I'm taking it we now need to vote on it, so I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Someone want to second that?
Second?
I'll second.
Have some discussion.
And is there any discussion?
What do we think Mike's feeling would be not having it apply to hosted rentals moratorium? So there's no change at all.
Well, I think, from his perspective, confusion, people not really understanding, can I, And just from his perspective, I don't know.
Problem is the software.
Well, the software is getting there quickly. I don't know if it would be ready tomorrow or the day after. I don't know. The town didn't do that either. So again, it just, just from Mike's perspective, just more confusion.
Do you have anything to add on that, Janet, or not?
No, I agree that I think it's confusing. I think we should do everything wholesale. I don't know whether there's going to be more changes. We're going to have another public hearing.
True. So we can, do we have the ability to close out part of that extension if we did?
You can terminate the extension.
Not, but I mean parts of it, or we have to do it all or nothing?
What,
In other words, we have an extension on the moratorium, but can we go back and carve out parts of it?
we've already carved out parts of it.
Can we do further carve outs in the future?
Yes, but whatever, the carve out that you're talking about now, I agree, would lead to confusion. And since there's going to be another public hearing, there may be additional comments that come up.
Right. I'm just curious after that. Okay, and we're only extending to the end of January, is that
Correct.
right? Do we actually think that's enough time?
I don't know.
Okay, now do that. If we have to, we'll.
Yep.
Okay, very good. Okay. Any more discussion?
It's just,
I mean, what if we vote on it after the next public hearing?
Fine, but
I mean, on carving out the hosted.
Right,
Well-
for now, though, we're just voting to extend the moratorium.
that's correct. I think if you were going to vote to carve something out after the next public hearing, I think you're either going to approve the local law as presented, or you're going to have further changes. If you have further changes that are substantial, you're going to have to hold another public hearing. You're also, if you decide to change the moratorium to carve something out of it, you're going to have another public hearing.
Okay, well, either way, for now, we wouldn't do it until after the next public hearing anyhow, so for now, unless there's more comment, I think we should at least vote to extend the moratorium. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Katie?
Aye, sorry, just in muting.
Okay. So that is extended. And then we have the minutes from December 5th, regular board meeting. Do we have
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
any changes or? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
As well. Okay, then item C is Main Street reconstruction change order number 7.
This change order was the extension of, we needed to get more blacktop to go further down the roads because the roads had been destroyed. So it's just the additional cost of the material and time to do it.
When you say the roads had been destroyed, what do you mean?
All the equipment driving across the roads, the digging
So
into the
it
roads.
it wasn't originally scoped to be paved?
Correct.
Okay.
So
We didn't
extend it.
anticipate that?
No, originally, we were hoping DOT would tear up the whole thing, and do all the stormwater
So is it from here?
from the Olympic Center to
Okay.
73.
As well as down Mirror Lake Drive up Hayes Street. There's sections that we went further than we had originally intended because the roads were just in rough shape.
Okay.
We didn't intend to go up to that. Okay, any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve change order number 7?
I'll make the motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think you have to mention the funding source.
EFC.
Okay.
That's what you meant when
Yes.
you made your motion.
Yeah.
Yes.
So doesn't part of that go on water and part of that go on highway or Main Street project?
It all goes on Main Street.
The whole thing goes on Main Street?
Okay, we good there?
We spot.
And that's better.
Okay, and item D is an annual agreement that we always do, municipal snow and ice agreement with the state. The only changes that I know on that are pursuant to our union contract. Is that correct?
It's our annual snow and ice agreement with the state so that they supply us with funds for
So
maintaining.
I think what he meant is it's based on the increased labor cost.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you, Janet. Okay, do I have a motion to approve municipal snow and ice agreement?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item E, distribution transformer bid award revised. Who wants to start? Katie
Can
or?
we get back to you on your questions on that?
He did, yeah. So I talked to him, over the weekend about this one. And so I think that the long and the short of it is that the kind of the preferred bidder didn't get, wasn't able to get the transformers in from their suppliers. And so I think his proposal then is to go not for the second place kind of bid in terms of cost, but the third, which had a significantly shorter lead time and wasn't that much different in terms of cost compared to the second place one. And I think it had a potentially a better reputation, I think, in terms of kind of delivery. So his proposal is, it's going to be certainly more than the initial option, but it's work that needs to be done. And I think his take is that we'll be able, I think, the money will be recouped over time anyway through through just, kind of customer service agreements.
And we've all seen where you want to go to work and you don't have the parts to do the work, so.
Oh, absolutely. And these transformers might be 87 week lead time down to 36 week lead time to get them. So I totally agree with them. I just wanted to make sure we got back to you on your questions.
Yeah, me as well. I went to see him today on the subject and really we had no choice.
Yeah.
Anything bad or?
No, I'm good with that. I had a conversation with them.
But I think they mentioned that it's the responsible bidder.
Yes.
Yeah.
You would like a motion to accept the responsible bidder.
Well,
So,
because you're not accepting the lowest responsible, so you have to document why.
Okay.
because they rejected our,
Right,
because
they backed out.
they backed out because they can't produce our product in time.
And the second one is not deemed responsible, why?
Because of time lag.
And past performance.
Yeah, history of non-delivery.
Okay.
Okay, did someone make that motion? Peter did, okay. And do I have a second?
Second.
Well, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good, thank you very much for your efforts. And the IEEP increase, we briefly were on that. Does anyone have any questions? I know I understand it more now.
Well, so going up to how much more are we gonna see of that returning back to us?
$20,000. It's double from what it is.
It's double.
Yeah.
Well, and
It's
you-
more than
It's-
that.
It's per kilowatt, the charges.
I get that.
So over time, the money's worth less and less because you can buy less.
But
and
I
less
thought
kilowatt.
we were getting 130,000 a year.
We were, so now it's double.
So now we're getting 260,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it depends on how
Yep.
many kilowatts we
Yep.
sell.
And I didn't understand before the million, it's a million percent or something.
It's 0.001. So it'll go to 0.002, but with the increased cost, you're not getting as much.
Bang for the buck.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're not getting
It's not
ahead of
covering
keeping.
as much.
Okay. Any more questions on that? Motion to approve increasing the IEEP.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So
Aye.
that. Would you like to speak to the billing office?
Sure. So lost Emily as one of our office or accounting staff members a few months ago, and we went back out, kind of repositioned the job. We went for a third account clerk instead. That way there's always two people in the office because, as we know, things have gotten a lot busier and they've become way more efficient in there. But instead of one person just doing a portion of work for me and a little bit for Art and a little bit for Brad, we're gonna spread it out amongst all three of them. That way there's always a second person in that office. Somebody has to get called out or whatever the case may be, so.
Work gets done.
Yes. So we interviewed 7 or 8 applicants, I think it was. We had it down to 2 and finalized on Caitlin Darwin, and she is going to start the day after we come back from holiday.
6.
April 4th.
Yes.
At 19?
Yes, 19.
Okay, any questions on that? Do I have a motion to approve hiring of
Caitlin.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Motion statement. Okay, and H is the approval of fire department surplus, a vehicle being put up for surplus. And that is
19.
Chassis.
Yeah, just the chassis.
just a chassis.
No tires, no engine, just the chassis.
One man's junk, another person's
Never know.
gold, okay.
Never know.
Any questions on that? Could I please have a motion to approve the fire department surplus chassis?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and sports council noise ordinance permit.
Is this complete? I mean,
They filled everything out.
yeah, I
They,
know. Sorry.
That's right.
Okay. So everyone understands what this is to extend on just the night of the 22nd from 9:30 to 11, DJ Mike, is that correct?
That is correct.
Mix
Mix mastermind.
Mix mastermind. And if you don't say it right, I'll make you listen to him again.
MM Mike.
But shouldn't they fill out the firework permit instead of because the
It's
drone,
supposed to be 2.
it's
Well,
supposed,
well, this is the only one they've sent to me so far. I haven't gotten anything for the drones.
okay. Why did I see something in there?
I
Did you?
talked to them last week and expressly suggested that they fill out the existing.
And you're right, because they mentioned on the first page, but that is not what this is, and as
Right.
far as I'm concerned, that's not.
Well, you better bring that to their
Okay.
attention because
Yeah.
it says drone show.
When they questioned the use of the fireworks application, I said, yes,
Yep.
that's the one you are to use.
Yep.
Anything that's not applicable, mark that, but we need licensing, we need
Right,
insurance,
and I told
we
her
need
that too,
everything.
they had that whole list. So I can, assuming we approve this tonight, I can tell them this is approved for the noise extension, but we're still waiting for your.
Did anybody get the public notice in their electric bill?
Yep.
Okay. Is that because you were within the perimeter? I thought it was going to everybody.
I think it came to.
I got it.
I got it.
You got it?
Maybe
I didn't get it.
I got it in my house.
I didn't get it.
I did.
Because you got an email, Bill, and the girls,
I got both.
oh, really?
Yeah,
I got both.
It did not ask for public comment.
I live up in a-
I know.
Not explicitly, no.
Oh, because you were in
You
the
got it at your house or at the store?
the range of people that we had issues with bills on. We just wanted to get the bills out. That's why.
Yeah, I think that they said that they decided that it was going to go to everybody when we spoke to them.
Did you get one, Katie?
Yeah, I got one. But I think, Janet, you're right that it didn't explicitly ask for public comment. It just said subject to approval that the noise would be extended.
I'm guessing we haven't heard anything from anybody.
It's just a notice.
Yeah.
Got a lot of questions about vehicle access passes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Vehicle
The
action.
back.
The
The back.
A lot of questions.
Refer them to LP 23.
We sent them all the routes.
I don't care where you send them, but
Not here.
we're not.
No, we're not answering.
Okay.
Today. They don't answer either.
No, we discussed that in open questions.
Okay, so at this point, do I have a motion to extend the noise ordinance permit, or permit to extend the noise ordinance on the 22nd from 9:30 to 11?
So moved.
Second?
Anyone?
I will second it. Okay, if that's the case, we'll call for a vote.
Discussion.
Discussion. Oh, we just did that.
Well, I think you should have it in the context of the motion.
Okay, is there any discussion anyone would like to have?
My only discussion is, there is no discussion. I'm just not in favor of it.
That'll count the vote, but
It will.
I mean, I don't like the music either, but that doesn't mean anything.
It's not even the music anymore. It's just, okay, so.
So, once
Well,
in
I
a
mean-
lifetime event, this University Games business.
or twice.
Have we had any feedback?
What's that? No.
Have we had
haven't.
any comment or concern from anyone?
No.
Most of the people who live on Main Street are younger.
They probably like the music, they're happy it's coming.
I asked my daughters, they liked it. I don't know how they could, but
Britton, I might come over for it.
Okay, at this point, any more questions or comments from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
Nay.
Nay, nay. Well, I was opposed, so I
I
said
get what
aye.
you're saying, yes.
I think it should be noted that your approval is subject to receiving the appropriate and required and multiple times requested insurance coverage.
Okay.
is that separate from all the others? Or is
We
that part of the
haven't got any.
package?
With the village named as additional insured.
You so noted that?
Yeah. I will let you know tomorrow.
I asked them for it at that
Oh, I
meeting.
know, and I got something, if you asked for it. I got
You're still gonna get
copies,
that.
but not the binders.
Not the binders.
Village.
Yeah.
And as you pointed out,
So you don't have the binders, you got nothing.
Mids Park or Brewster Park edition.
Yeah,
It's
maybe
time.
we should take that down.
Brewster Park and fire pits now.
Well, but I mean, that's already in place is what we're getting at.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, item J, zoning board of appeals, 3 recommendations.
Should we do it as 3 separate units? Because actually see 3 separate terms, like.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's 3 different people, so it might be for one against, so you
Okay.
what you'd like first.
Okay, so the first one is Sean Donovan for a 5-year term that would expire at the end of 2027. These all are effective January 1st, 2023.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
So I think you should discuss, because I know you haven't had an appointment in a long time. You know, these committees or these boards have usually been tried to be set up where there's village residents and town residents and what that mix is. And I don't know if that's been discussed or pointed out.
And John's, I know John's in the village,
Sean's in the town.
So I know we got at least
Okay,
a
just,
little mix there.
and you know that this appointment also has to be made by the town.
They already did.
Okay,
Yes.
So we can ask Mr. Goldschmidt.
he's in the village.
He's in the village, so we have 2 in the village. That's good news.
Well, in this day and age, just getting someone to volunteer is quite a accomplishment. Okay, so
John?
So yeah, we have a first and a second on Sean. Is he approved?
all in favor?
Aye.
Second one, a 4-year term expiring at the end of 2026 for Walter Goldschmitz. And he would be completing the remainder of Linda Friedlander's term.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So passed. Thank you very much for your contribution to serve. In
Third one is a 2-year term expiring at the end of 2024. Jonathan Gravitt, completing the remainder of Bill Morris's term. Robot, thank you.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Any questions? All in favor?
I,
Passes as well. Okay,
I just wanted to thank the board for, thank you very much.
we'd like to thank you for stepping up. Okay, item K. We probably do K and L together. It's the board meeting, regular board meeting, January through June, and then the work sessions, January through June. Were there any corrections or questions or?
I didn't look at it. What did we decide about university games, period?
So I just laid it out as we always have, but that's all, that's up to you guys. This is tentative until you all have approved it. So if you think we shouldn't have meetings during those days, then
I don't think you should, well, at least on the 17th.
I mean, we can always put it down and then cancel it if we so choose, right?
we could. Yeah, so however you all want
Just
to.
remember, that would be the second meeting in January, correct?
Yes.
We're going to have some second meeting in January over the either termination or extension of the moratorium and/or at some point voting on the proposed local law. So you are going to have some meeting. It doesn't have to be a regularly scheduled meeting. It could be a special meeting, but just remember that when you're looking at the
Well,
calendar.
maybe what we should do then is just take the next weekend and schedule it. If we're thinking we're not going to have it, and that way we'll have something there. But we have to
That would be the
specifically,
24th.
we have to specifically say what that was for. Or could we?
If it's a special meeting, yes, you have to say specifically, but you don't know what it's for yet.
Right, okay. So board's pleasure if we think we're not going to have one during the World University Games to have it the Monday after the 24th. I mean, if needs be, we can always cancel, we can always have an emergency meeting or
But
something.
the agenda is yet to be determined.
Well, it would be a regular meeting, so you don't have
Before
to, it's
to
a
set up
special
Friday
meeting if you
before.
have to say specifically what it's.
And then the only other concern is we approve a lot of bills, and Medina, you're okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. You've got ways that you can pay creditors and before we,
Well, 30 days.
Yeah.
I can wait.
okay, just making sure. Okay, so you got that.
So are we going with
Week after,
26th theoretically as a regular meeting?
Yes,
Well, it'd be the 23rd, wouldn't it?
Oh,
The 22nd is that Sunday that we just approved the stay up late,
yeah, so yes, the 23rd.
and it would be a regular meeting.
Thank you.
What if something comes up during the games that we have to meet?
Then we have an emergency
So
We
you
have
meeting.
call it a
emergency
special
meeting.
meeting, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We do that for all sorts of things.
okay. And then the workshop, does anything fall in there?
Even better than me. Well, not sure.
Anytime.
Does it conflict with the?
No,
the
workshop
university
is-
games?
Workshop is better.
The workshop hits on what, the 10th and the 24th?
31st, so 31st is, I'll be on an island somewhere.
Are you going to return? Okay, so in
So
other words,
actually, I guess we had 3 weeks in between there, so it's not.
because did you have the workshop down for the 24th?
No,
Very
so there was going to be 3 weeks between the 2nd of January and the 1st of February. Now we're just flip-flopping, and there'll be 3 weeks between the 1st in January and the 2nd in January.
Okay,
So either way, we would have had 3 weeks in there.
Better in a billing perspective.
so we will leave the 31st as a workshop,
Yeah.
and February 6th is our first board meeting.
That's right.
Very good. Does anyone have any well, anyone make a motion to bring both of these at the same time, K and L?
With the,
As amended.
as amended.
So move. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
Aye.
Aye.
Anything else to come?
No, that is all.
Okay. And who did the minutes this time?
Here.
Go Peter.
No, this time Jack did.
Jackie?
Speaking, I can see you.
After 5 on Friday before the public hearing.
Huh? Well,
You came in late on Friday because we had that public hearing anyway, so.
Okay, motion to accept warrant affidavit number 9.
I'll make the motion.
All in favor? Aye. Anything else to come? Thank you. Treasury?
Nope.
Okay, very good. Anything under new business? Under old business.
Yes. I would just like to have a little bit of discussion on STRs and our 2-for-1. Because, I mean, I realize we were the ones that put this into motion, you know, in trying to maintain long-term rentals on Main Street. And we extended, it did stop at the post office, but now we're extending it to the town hall. And, you know, there are a couple of projects that this is going to impact. And I really don't know how I feel. You know, I realize we put a sense of rules in, but one project is probably further along than others. And, you know, it's an empty building that I don't want to see empty, that I want to see improvements made to. I'd like to discuss it some more. You know, not that, you know, we did have some thoughtful discussion about it, and those projects were brought up, but what's going to happen though is if would be a significant change, and if we did change this, we would have to do another public hearing. And I know that, you know, we're weighing, I know we want to get these STR regulations done. I'm all for that, but
I'll be doing another public hearing.
We're waiting to anyway.
but it's gonna change it significantly. So.
But is there enough time to
Why
make
do you
that?
want to change it?
Well, because I think that I would like to see the project move forward.
It's not going to.
I think there'll be some challenges for the developer, the owner, and, you know.
I think you were the one.
Yes, I was. Can I change my mind?
I think I was clear from the beginning, like.
Yes, you, yes, yeah.
I feel like
He
people
was.
should be able to do what they want to do to be able to pay for the building.
You know, for no, I mean, obviously, you know, you go to a bank, you base your loan on a pro forma. I mean, this is gonna significantly change. And I don't want the building sitting empty. And if you look at it, you know, 1,000 feet down the road, you got Jack Ruger in the Delaval building doing, you know, possibly the same thing. Then why didn't we extend this all the way down to Mill Hill? So, I mean, maybe we go that way, just so it's fair. Or not fair. I mean, what's your thought?
I thought,
I know.
I kind of agreed with you, that was a good idea.
Okay,
That to not lose more local housing
but
through development.
We did
through
have
redevelopment.
a few comments from the public saying, don't give up.
I mean,
People
I
that
had a
work
couple
on Main
people
Street
tell me.
apartment.
no, we did.
I had a couple people tell me that, why didn't the town do it? They wish the town did it as well.
Well, and you know, from that, looking at the housing committee, I mean, then why don't we offer incentives to properties like this? You know, don't turn everything into short term. Maybe there's an incentive for keeping some. Why are we restricting it? Why isn't there another avenue to incentivize people in keeping long-term rentals on Main Street?
You don't have any money to incentivize.
We will. Well, we've got $20,000 from Joe. We've got money. You don't have money, but the committee has money. I mean, okay.
Well, let's ask the question first. In our public hearing, if we did decide to make a change, is it possible to put it into the public hearing that's coming up?
Well, we have to rewrite the law, and and I'm not gonna do that tomorrow.
In the
It's a
public
bad
hearing?
time of year to get anything done.
Okay.
So
We haven't set a date yet for the public hearing, we just tentatively discussed it based on wanting
And it would,
to.
it'd have to be, whenever the public notice goes in the paper, it would have to be ready to go to the public.
Katie? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it feels, I understand the point for sure. I think, it feels like at some point, we need to test what's been written down. And I wonder if we're, kind of leaving people hanging as well if we just kind of continue to push it out.
Well, and another thought that I had in discussing it with Janet, this project was approved in September of '21. Now, granted, nothing's shovel ready yet, but, it did go through the planning board and it was approved. Janet says that's not something that can be grandfathered because it needed to be what, 50%?
At least substantial
Yeah.
commencement.
But, it went through the process. For whatever reason, it's taking longer than usual, and maybe that's pandemic related, who knows? But those are just my thoughts, and I just wanted us to look at it one more time.
And is the entire downstairs of that retail?
Front facing is retail, backside is,
Is that what we decided that law would be?
yes, and that they are following that law.
And you have to be careful not to zone your particular project.
Correct.
Yeah, kidding.
No, I know.
And it will be an overall change in your thought process or overall change in the areas to which it applies or doesn't apply.
Right. No, I know. I just wanted to bring it up one more time.
I'm on board with it.
Jackie, I wonder if, part of this too is just making sure that we've got some really tight monitoring and feedback loops set up. And, maybe we can kind of talk a little bit more about what that might look like at a future meeting or one of the workshops. But, that might be a way to, if we did want to still move ahead and avoid further delay, but just be able to keep really close tabs on the impact and whether the intention of the new rules is kind of following what was intended and there's no kind of unintended consequences popping up that we wanted to address or deal with at a future time.
I'm confused which way you're thinking, Katie, is that we should stand pat with what we've got or have further discussion on this?
Yeah, so I think I'm suggesting that we stand with what we have, but we put in some robust monitoring to keep tabs on things, so that we can sort of objectively test whether the impact that we're hoping the rules and the rule changes will have is what's, kind of materializing. So it's not quite a way to trigger a change or, kind of opening things up, but it just,
I get what he's saying, I get what Janet is saying.
Well, you so far have only brought up the issue, but haven't stated which way you would like to go on this. I think so far we're 2-1. Which way do you feel on this? Do you want to leave it the way it is for now and revisit it in the future? Do you want to revisit it now and pull this process up? Up to you. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to.
Yes, it does. It comes right down to that.
I've said this 100 times, in a year or two, the law can be changed again.
I get that the law can be changed, but in the meantime, it may impact other.
Well, if it keeps people from getting kicked out of their apartment, it's not a bad thing.
But if the building deteriorates and looks like nice and easy, then that's not a good thing.
Well, of course not. It's all a balancing act.
It is a balancing act. And give me a minute.
Okay.
Take all the time you need.
I wasn't part of the discussions, but whatever they were, at some point you decided to draw the line at the town hall versus the post office versus the traffic light. And I don't know why that was all decided.
I don't know, I can't
I don't
remember
know if that
why.
helps or hurts, but I don't know what the thinking was.
Do you remember? I don't remember.
I thought the rule extended to anyone on the Gateway corridor. But apparently not.
It does, it extends.
Okay.
So
like
it
even Lawrence House
extends.
would have, the old Lawrence House then would also have to have,
Who's the old Lawrence house?
it's where Bell Valley was.
Oh, yes, that's,
That's what
oh.
I thought it was the entire corridor that we talked
no,
about.
wait a minute, no. I
That was
think,
my understanding.
I think the 2-for-1 was from Brewster.
No, it was the entire corridor. I thought it was the corridor.
Oh, hang
Two for
on. Will
one.
you just hang on?
And to the post office, that was a different issue. I mean, that's a big,
From the post office or from town hall up, the only restriction there was you had to have residential on the first floor.
No, residential, commercial.
What's that?
commercial, exactly, that's what it was. From
You had a commercial on the first
to,
floor. You said residential, no residential.
and the other thing was the entire corridor. That's what we decided.
The other section, Jackie, it's in the section about village only.
So it's in the back.
Thanks, Art. Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, sorry, this is the old law. You don't want to read the old law. I don't have the new law with me.
I'm pretty sure it did extend through the corridor and the only restriction.
The
from the
2-for-1?
post- That was the reason for the post office up to Brewster Park. It wasn't 2-for-1, it was the.
Main Street.
No residential on the first floor.
I don't want to hold this up any more than it is.
And I think I have the one.
We can find it.
Little pitch.
Let's see if he gets it
Bring your
quick.
car keys in case it's locked.
Don't run, don't trip.
While he's doing that, we could go into mayoral items and
Should I also, under old business, discuss the changes in dates for these various meetings?
Sure.
For example, tomorrow, Lauren, you might want to make note of this. Tomorrow's joint town and village board meeting is canceled due to a technical glitch.
It's canceled.
Yes.
I didn't know either.
Well, this all just came up this afternoon. Well, because our meeting wasn't an official one on Friday. The town attorneys have say that we don't have to rush with that secra. So that is going to be put off to the new year, as will the next joint board meeting, which we were thinking about doing both those things on January 3rd, when both boards are meeting anyway, their regular board meetings. But I don't know if, depending on, I guess, whether the law has to change more.
And January 3rd would be a great day, just get it in before.
Yes, right. I mean, I
This is
guess
the old
secret
one
is
too.
still-
That's the old one?
Yeah,
Yeah, that one, it still has,
yeah.
but wait a second, but the village thing didn't change in the one where you took out Deerwood.
It doesn't have the 2-for-1 in there.
I think it was that too. I'll find it.
All right, you find it.
Okay.
Anything
So,
else?
That's it, but I guess
It
we,
is on the website, right?
does that
I got it on
work for everyone?
That's a-
Assuming the
that's
town
a-
attorney
that's
can
a
also
Tuesday.
come. Right, we would start earlier. So we just agreed that there'll be a 5 o'clock meeting, our regular board meeting. We would decide whether we're meeting at 4 or 4:30, depending on how
It's gonna be in
long
that section.
Well, this
you
is-
think the town
Probably
attorney might.
This is
need.
outside the village, this one.
Oh, okay.
When?
January 3rd.
Yeah, it would be earlier
Yeah.
so that we could meet the town, have the secret.
Katie, how about you, January 3rd, 4 o'clock,
Main Street short-term rental posted.
to reschedule tomorrow's meeting on
Here
the
it
seeker?
is.
Yeah, that would work. Let me just double check.
Okay,
So we'll
21.
say tentatively, because we're waiting for the town. to
Okay.
do it.
A short-term rental located in the village, we want to, the use of the street front as short-term street level. Properties that have 3 or more units for every 2.
Within the village of Lake Placid, Village Center and Gateway Corridor, properties that have 3 or more units. So it's within,
But,
it's in Village Center and Gateway Corridor.
okay, but when you look at section 3, it says Main Street short-term rentals. A short-term rental,
So it's in both places.
okay,
So it's Main Street, Village Center, and Gateway Corridor.
okay, but from here to Mill Pond is Village Center. It's not Gateway Corridor, correct? From here to Mill Pond, to Mill Hill, it's Village Center. So this is saying from Brewster to 2693 Main Street, Town Hall. So what happens from the
But
town?
look under 2, lodging short-term rental.
But
Village Center, Gateway Corridor, if you have 3 or more units, you have to do the 2 for 1. So in Village
Okay.
Center, Gateway Corridor, and in Main Street.
Okay.
So it's repetitive.
yes.
3 talks
Yep,
about the short-term, the street level having to be commercial,
yes,
but it's all covered to make it clear that, yes, you have to have commercial on Main Street from number 1 Main Street, Worcester Park to here. Commercial on the street level, and if you have 3 or more units, for every short-term rental, you have to have 1. And that is from Brewster Park to here, and also going out Gateway Corridor and anything in Village Center. So Gateway Corridor, the question is this is Village Center down here into the red light.
right.
So they have to do 2 for 1
Yep.
also.
Okay.
And going out Saranac Avenue.
I think it's more important to move forward with the,
Okay. Very good.
So then we will probably be having a public hearing that night too,
What night is that night?
that Tuesday, January 3rd. It would be a public hearing from the town attorney on SECRA, and then our regular meeting.
No. It's going to be a public hearing on the new local law.
Right. And separately,
And then separate and apart from that,
Yeah.
the secret is not a public hearing, I don't.
no, it's not, I
Joint
didn't mean
meeting.
to put them together, but I just mean,
But with the
we'll
town,
be meeting on all those
with the town.
with the town, yes.
So what time, then you're really going to have a regular, you're going to have 2, you're going to have a meeting with the town, a public hearing, and a separate village board meeting?
That's the current.
So what would the timing be?
Start at 4 probably, just to be
I-
safe.
Yeah, that's what.
And we could probably handle the seeker first, but that's just.
No, you can't handle the seeker before the public hearing on the local
All
law.
right, well, that'll.
Well, the other attorney didn't really, I don't know how much that mattered. She didn't seem
Well,
to
you
think-
need a timing if you're going to have a joint meeting, a public hearing, and then a separate board meeting.
Well,
Because the town is then going to have their own separate board meeting.
yes, which is at 5:30, ours is at 5.
I mean, we can shoot for 4:30 and hope that it's quick, but if we don't,
I mean, I was
we're
thinking
into trouble.
public hearing at 4, the town attorney
The seeker,
does it 4:30, and then we have our meeting at 5.
I guess you have to coordinate with the town to see if they'll.
Yeah,
They can do
Emily and I
that
were
too.
talking about that.
Are we good with that?
I'll be here at 4.
Thank you, Mark.
Can we vote on the law immediately thereafter?
Yes,
No, after the seeker,
yes, during our regular
Regular
meeting,
meeting.
if we choose to.
if you choose to, and if the town makes certain findings under the seeker.
Yeah.
The town doesn't make the requisite,
And
Assuming
theoretically,
those
we could
things line up.
Rescind the moratorium as the, also? That night?
well, then you would, yes. But here's what I would do is I would I would not rescind the moratorium until you know that the local law has been filed with the Secretary of State's office by both the town and the village.
It's registered.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, Katie, you're okay with that?
Order.
4 o'clock,
Yes.
January 3rd?
Yeah, that works for me.
So I will let Emily know, and assuming it works for everyone on that side, we'll put out a notice.
Okay. Anything else under old business? Old business was never so popular. Okay, nothing under mayor items, any commissioner reports?
Decorations look beautiful.
Heard I haven't been. Nice
Oh, yeah.
night.
Take a ride.
I will.
Yeah.
And I understand that the water plant, they're still working on the water dam problem? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But we're also at the point where we, even if we had to, we could operate with it or get it started with a water dam and then we really an emergency need it. So, okay, very good. That brings us to public comment.
Just me, no media?
We're gonna start with you.
Start with me? Thank you. How many permits did applications came in? Do you guys have information?
Bruce?
For what?
Houston, for these parking permits. It's assigned to someone's private entity.
Bruce just
No,
handling all those
Bruce.
permits.
It's not us.
Yeah.
We're not doing it.
Yeah, I know, but I thought some of them were coming here, some of them were,
We got maybe 6 that were dropped off here that we had to ship up to Bruce, but anybody who came in who was looking for one, we directed.
and then you've gotten a lot of questions. You said, what are those questions from folks?
Just mostly because they went out in our billing, if, where they can apply, if they qualify for it. And we've just directed all of it back to Roost.
And then you're providing the electric bill information to Bruce then?
We are providing just the name and address of people who live on Main Street, no other information.
There will be posted, I am told, tomorrow is the target date, a frequently asked
Oh, yes,
questions
yes, I'll send that around.
on the Roost website, FAQ. And that probably, I hope that they've accumulated questions from people and they're answering them because it's frequently asked questions. But I was told that's going to be posted on the website tomorrow.
But Roost is not, they're issuing the permits, who's enforcing the permits? Once
So
people-
I'm not sure that Roost is issuing the permits. LP 23 is issuing the permits.
We got
the
all of this going on in their public parking lots,
The
state roads.
enforcement will be done at the checkpoints by state police, private security people that.
No,
Oh.
Department of Homeland Security, FBI, State Police, DOT.
Are managing the checkpoints.
Yes.
Well, I went down and picked this up on the 1st of December like I was instructed. Went down here, had some questions, some of the similar questions regarding parking. So I'm inquiring about that number of permit applications that have come in. I wrote them an email on the 1st with some of these questions. They're non-responsive to this address here. So we direct people to this email address on their form. Nothing happens. I replied again to them on Friday and still, because that was the end of the application date, right? So.
What is that address? What, I didn't see the application on that.
Pick it up in their form. I got this up at the Visitors Bureau. Is that Roost or is that something different
It's
too?
Roost.
Okay. So that being said, they're non-responsive. I haven't gotten straight answers from Chuck, haven't gotten straight answers from this board about the whole process other than, yeah, there's going to be different locations. There's going to be different parking here, there. Chuck's telling me I should park down at the horse show grounds.
That's not true.
All right.
That is not true that you have to park at the horse show grounds. There are accommodations that are made for you and the other people on Main Street who have single-family residence I think there's 3 properties on Main Street that fall under that category. And I am told that 24/7, those property owners will be given access to their properties. Yes, you will have to be escorted because if the Main Street is not open, and remember, it's going to be open from 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. But
For a bat pass, or a pass, correct?
No, 2 a.m.
But you still have to have a pass. to be
But that's
on.
for the people getting
Right,
materials and
so
all
let's
that.
say you want to go to the grocery store at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You will be able to get out of your driveway and all the traffic will only be going north, okay? Because.
It'll be the southbound lane that's open going north.
Correct, because, and you will have to be escorted because it's a safety issue, but I've been
Clearly
told,
understand.
24/7. Now, who your contact person is, Mr. Hughes, I can't tell you at this point because we are not doing that. But I will tell you that this board has made it 100% clear to the LP 23 people and the whole security group in writing that you and other people similarly situated are to be given 24/7 access.
Can I get a copy of that?
Yes,
You can email, you have my email address, correct?
yes.
I can forward them this
You can-
Chuck wrote today.
No, not what Chuck wrote, my letter. He
Your
wants-
letter?
Yeah.
What
And-
happens if I'm not obliged by these folks?
You mean if they deny you access?
Yeah.
I guess it'd be like there was a fire on Main Street and they denied you access. I mean,
Well,
if
that's,
Homeland Security, the FBI, and everyone.
that's, yeah, but I'm not talking about.
It isn't the
that's-
intention to stop you, but if they were stopping you, I'm sure they'd be stopping everybody.
Oh, yeah, there's no problem with going through a checkpoint for this. I understand it's all time, place, and manner. So that's understandable. Now, my big dilemma is this, okay? I've gotten a myriad of different responses. The latest one that I was, Chuck said the best way to go is to park at the horse show grounds. That's what I'm operating under. Nobody communicates with me. Nobody in this board communicates.
Well, I think when you were here at the last meeting, you were very clear on your expectations and gave us, 4 options. I think it was a month ago or more when Chuck was here at the meeting and said, oh,
It was early December.
yeah, the
And
horse
then-
show grounds. That is,
No, I spoke to him here,
well,
he and I
that's,
separately.
that's,
He said that I've got NBT lot.
no. for-
Yes, you
you
did. I got
have-
the
you-
reports there.
What I'm saying is,
Yeah,
you have your driveway, your parking lot.
Okay.
Period. And as I said, this board has been crystal clear with the people at LP 23 that you and, as I said, others similarly situated are not to be denied 24/7. But because of the closure and the safety issues, it will have to be, what are they calling it?
Escorted.
Escorted, I missed the.
Time, place, and manner, understand?
Yep, so how they are doing that, but we are not clear. We are not in charge of how they're doing it because as we said, it's other people who, and you will get some sort of a pass. No, I think your names or your addresses have been already given in to the control people as those who will need to have the 24/7 access. The logistics, I don't know. I cannot sit here and tell you, this is who you call, this is who you email, this is how you do it. I'm not sure anybody knows that at this point, but I would believe that this board will ask for a point person to be named, who, as you said, if something goes wrong, who do you call?
Yeah, I asked for that on this.
Ghostbusters. Who do you call?
On December 5th, I came in here and asked that specific question, and you pointed down to Chuck, which is reasonable.
We are dealing with the same thing you're dealing with. We are dealing with this entity here DOT here, state police here, and ultimately it is going to be LP 23's responsibility, in my opinion, because they are the ones who are controlling the access due to their requirements as legislated by FISU.
Yeah, that's not, they have no duty. Well, your son-in-law is one of the chair on this, wasn't he? The Adirondack?
Vice Chair.
Yeah, so, I guess so. I guess, you know.
But the sports
digging
council
supplies.
doesn't have
It
anything to
doesn't,
do with
this
it.
has nothing to do with that.
That's the sports council, who it says is FISU, and they're from.
Piece of security.
Yeah. Like,
So-
I mean, Mike
Ryan,
Ryan, he's the head of that, security, I believe he is.
ex-state trooper.
but see, this has been very problematic in trying to get, the answers have been going all over the board.
Yeah.
And
With us too.
understand, but I've got business to conduct. I've got things to do. I've got,
And that's good, because I hope you'll know the days and dates that are coming and going, because you said you're.
yeah, I've already changed my plans. I'm going to Virginia because the way it was left, it's like, I'm going to Virginia. It's like, I couldn't rent my house
But
out.
if you know when you need to get access, when you're coming back, that would be good to let them know way ahead of time, so that they can make sure there's some access escort for
I
you.
booked my flights out of Dulles. I didn't book them out of Albany, or Montreal. You know, I've done all this. It's, you know, I've not gotten any straight answers all the way down the line with this situation.
Well, I think you heard tonight that we don't have a lot of straight answers too, and some of their applications that they've made. We
Exactly.
either don't have the application or we don't have the answers.
But they're your guests, and I told Mark a month ago that it's like, doesn't matter to me if you have this event or not. I'm great for everybody as long as you can do it. It doesn't, you know, negatively impact us, but I've had to come down here, 3 or 4 times and deal with a bunch of stuff that nobody can provide me answers for. That's unreasonable, and as the elected body here, you all need to make sure that that happens when you bring such events into this town. Chuck has been working on this according to the newspaper since 2019. So why is this taking so long to put all these people together? It's.
That's a rhetorical question.
It is, but it's not my problem, okay? I didn't elect to have not a party, we're an event, okay? So for this event, it wasn't my idea to have this event. I support it. I support everything that everybody does to bring things to the town. But it's like all the mishigas that I've had to put up with over the last month, since October, when I first talked to, when Janet gave me this, again, is now we're going back to October. So, but I've not heard that. Everything's gone quiet. The permit time is now expired. We never applied for a permit. You know, we couldn't.
I think, from what I know, that you can still apply.
Okay. Well, I was in here
And
about the 16th.
just so you know, this information that I'm giving you, I got today.
Okay.
So we're not holding anything from you. We are actually trying to hold LP 23's feet to the fire on many issues, one of which is yours.
Yeah, but again, that's
And I'm
that stuff
happy to
that
show you
should.
the letter.
I'd like a copy of it.
Yeah.
Please email it to me. I'm just frustrated with the process that is going on here. So I guess that's being settled. So we're planning on leaving because I wasn't going to put up with parking at the horse show grounds and being stranded out there coming home from a flight at 11 o'clock at night, and having no trolley to bring me back. That wasn't going to happen, or find parking in all these various spots. So send me that letter, let me look at it, and then, but now I've got to go back through and cancel all my reservations, redo that, another pain in the neck, all right. I understand it's life. Airlines are difficult enough to deal with, as hotels are. But, okay, so we'll put that on the shelf. That's, I guess, is what's going on. But communicate that with me, Janet. You got my email. Peter, you've got my email. Bart.
As she said, we finally got.
But tell me what you're doing.
As I told you before, I'm allowing Janet to handle that.
We didn't know ourselves.
Well, but tell me what you're planning. Tell me what you're doing. I get no answers from anybody. Mark, yell out the window. Say, hey, this is what we're doing. come over and,
They're not giving me answers either. I have a parking lot that holds 21 cars and I don't know if I'm gonna have access to it. And that would really help if, I had access to that because it would alleviate the parking problem where there's limited parking and I
Sure.
can park all of my stuff in the parking lot. Yeah, Fireside.
Have access all the time.
No.
That's limited access.
It's gonna be limited access during the
Because
event.
of the event.
Just during the oval.
Yeah,
When
which
the
is,
oval-
I think it's every day when I look, so.
Yeah, there is.
And I think it's like, happens to be during the time that we switch stuff. I don't know yet.
So I
Every
think-
day it's different, but I'm
Yeah,
just in
you're
the
in the
same
same
boat.
situation.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the effort, but again,
Not
communication.
exactly the same situation. You live at your house. She
Yeah.
doesn't live.
Yeah,
at
but
the
still,
other property.
it's accommodating. She's offering, taking a burden off what's gonna be very, very limited property. or
Well, this is the
parking.
first time we're hearing this issue. We've been hearing your issue and working on it. And yes, I will send you a copy of my letter. The plan that's in place should work. It'll work if everybody makes it work. But this board, all we can do is hold LP 23's feet to the fire. And you will see this in my letter, that if they can't get this permission and access working, ultimately, this board could say, we're not allowing you to close Main Street anymore. That's the ultimate decision, and it would be
Who has
hard.
governance over that, the village or the state?
Well, the
Because it's a state
permit,
highway.
Yes,
Well,
that's
Chuck
right.
pulled the permit,
we
and
have
that's
a
what I told you. It's like,
we have a permit for closure, and if it wasn't going well, if there's an emergency, I suppose we could, I don't know this for a fact, but I suppose we could tell DOT, we don't need the permit, we're opening Main Street.
is the board prepared to do that?
We're prepared to get you to your house.
All right, we'll put that aside. I just have to deal with this other situation that we've got going on, and that's because of what we're doing here is we're going through the ADA grievance procedure, and being that the village doesn't have one, and we know that, I discussed that you're, when you're lacking ADA coordinator, ADA procedure, ADA grievance process, and the ADA notice process, that's something that the village needs to do.
We are working on that.
All right, well, because I told you. So.
Thank you.
Yes, thank
You're
you.
welcome. And again, I'm bringing it to your attention. I'm not, the last conversation you had with me, Art, so I'm, being adversarial with you. If I were to be adversarial, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be spending my time in these meetings doing this. I'm doing it to try to help and support the village, not trying to make your life difficult. I'm a pretty, I guess, an intense fella based upon just my type of work, but that's the way it is. But I want to read this. I sent you this letter on the 27th of last month. Mary Devlin, upon returning to Lake Placid last week, we discovered that the village Main Street reconstruction project has items that interfere with the Fletcher lot, which is our lot where we live, and it's at the front of it as it joins Main Street. Number one, the concrete put in place at our gate to the Main Street sidewalk is poured nearly 2 inches higher than the elevation of our existing landing. The existing landing was originally built flush to the existing sidewalk. The path of the stairs to the landing were specifically designed for the purpose of Ms. Fletcher's use to accommodate her physical disability. Her disability affects her feet and where they drop and could cause her a trip on this barrier. She can no longer use these stairs independently without help and guidance to cross over that point. Work in place is non-compliant to ADA law. For Chapter 3, floor and ground services. Ms. Fletcher and I are putting you on notice as representative of the mayor of the village of Lake Placid, a 72-hour notice to remediate all non-compliant work or be subject to further action. I can be reached for coordination via this email. So, and we have photos here, we see this. Has anybody gone down to look at this?
Yep.
So you looked at that, okay. So number 2, contractors left multiple materials on our property. There's a bunch of boulders down there, a bunch of wood dunnage, 4x8 sheet of plywood. This was all left there. So what is the plan to resolve that and remediate that?
It's my understanding that it was a pallet and that was removed.
Well, there's a bunch of boulders that they pulled out of that wall that are laying in the bottom. And that there's a sheet of plywood that's up there. And there's a bunch of lumber that they left down there. So, and again, I want to be coordinated.
So you're telling us we went on your property?
Yeah.
I was under the impression we weren't allowed on your property. I don't know enough about it to answer your question.
Well,
No, I want to coordinate this, that way they get
So-
everything. I don't want somebody just zooming in there saying, oh yeah, we picked this up, because that doesn't work. I want to
So
coordinate that way.
here's what I can fill you in on. Not Friday, 3 days ago, but the prior Friday, with regard to the 2 inches. Our engineer came up, looked at it, looked at the wall. And you'll recall that we had offered a couple ideas with regard to the wall that you, yes,
No idea.
you said, talk to my attorney. That was your
He
response.
gave me no options for the wall.
Just a second. Then I wrote a letter to Ms. Fletcher, putting her on notice that we had some ideas for the water line to go through the wall. We'd like to get that work done, and you had responded, talk to my attorney.
We never received that letter.
And I sent it to this address and your other address, both certified, but that's neither here nor there because
Show me the receipts.
our engineer came up, he looked at it. I had hoped that I would have, or Brad would have had some correspondence with you, but after Ivan was here, he got sick, so he didn't write the memo. But we have some suggestions, ideas that we would like to discuss with you for not only that staircase, but the wall. But both of those require getting onto your property, Ms. Fletcher's property.
I manage it. I think you know.
Well, I
that.
know that, but she's the property owner, so we have to have her permission, or we have to have her designate you as the.
That's already done. I think you've got that document.
So, and with that, we would actually like to give you some options, not only, as I said, for the lip but also for the wall, where we could do some work, although it's on your property. It's holding up the sidewalk. Because of Ivan's being sick, I didn't get his memo that he was supposed to send. I know you feel, and it's probably true, that things move slowly, but we did get him up here, did have him look at it. So we're gonna get you something, hopefully. Well, I won't even say this week because it's the holidays.
That's okay. I want to know that we're making some type of progress.
Because we'd like to look at it globally.
No, fine. The one, you mentioned one other item that is with some of that there that I don't think we can talk about right now. There was one, the third item that you mentioned. We said the wall, the lip, and then there's
Water
one.
line.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that with you. Not at this point. That we have to coordinate that through other folks. I think we all know that, right?
We know that, yep.
All right, I'm pleased with that progress. Please send me something along and we're making progress there.
Yep.
All right, so why did it happen? I mean,
I'm
Peter,
the lawyer, not the engineer, not the contractor. I don't know why.
It exceeded, on the drawings, it shows on the existing condition, it shows that they put all that work in on our property. Peter knows the fences on our property. I explained that to you in July of 2019 when we were talking about when I put the stair up. And you said, oh, you cut the village's fence. And I said, well, the fence is on our property. Your survey shows it.
If he's in the fence, people will fall onto your property and sue you. Thank you, village. I mean, is there really any option?
No, your wall is falling onto our property. That's the problem. So everything was falling. That's why I wrote emails stating, what are we doing with this wall? Because you can see there's a big bow in that. But I didn't cut the fence until I had the gate up. I put no one at risk. I didn't. You're making it.
I know you said you have a gate there.
Yeah. You're insinuating that I put people
I
at risk.
mean, did the village have the option to put a fence there? That's my point.
Well, they should have put it at the 24 feet off.
As Mr. Hughes alluded to, there's certain things we should not be discussing. That's for other people to discuss.
But we could talk about this portion, because this portion is.
Well, I'm going to advise Peter not to.
Okay, all right, well, that's okay, but I'll make a comment that it should have been within 25 feet of the center of the road, or accommodated accordingly, because it's now 30 feet off the center of the road. 31 exactly, so, but we could accommodate some of that, because you're 25 feet off the center of the road, off the center of the highway, falls about 5 feet off of the curb line, that's where that falls. So, but you don't have to answer that, but you were in a meeting when we all talked about the 25 feet off the center of the road.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Anything else?
You do as well, Art, because I talked to you up at the Catholic Church about that fence.
Yeah, like I say, like the council, we'll
Yeah,
let the
I got it.
proper people understand that.
We're talking totally different things right now. And let's resolve it. I want to sit and resolve it. That's what I want. I don't want to go back and forth, but I want to lay out the facts.
Very good.
All right. Thank you all very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I just add another comment?
Sure.
So, first of all, I've become a real seasoned host on Airbnb. And, I'm overbooked for the Fitzhugh games, which is why I asked to have the hosted rentals removed from the moratorium so that I could host I actually had somebody look at it that is a volunteer here, and they're here for 3 weeks, and I could not allow them to stay because it was 3 weeks instead of 4 weeks in my new apartment. And then with the Main Street, the 2-for-1 deal, I'm not in the business of having any long-term rentals. So I would really like for you guys to reconsider that you do the that's either removed or there's language added to it. What you're talking about is a change of ownership more so. And what I have is new projects where it's not that somebody would lose their housing, it's that we would be adding housing. So we would be adding value to the properties. And it's 3 different properties currently that I'd like to complete and add value to. And I don't have interest in having a building manager because that's my position. So I live on Acorn Street so that I am in walking distance to all of my buildings. I've added technology to my buildings so that it's easy to do things remotely. I manage my properties through cameras, Noiseway. I don't have any complaints from the neighbors. My building is next to Peter's. I don't think any of the long-term tenants have complained about my short-term tenants. I'd like to be able to add more short-term property or more units to that property. I will not be adding any long-term tenants to that building. So that will leave space that is unfinished, continue to be unfinished. I have 2 projects down here that are currently at a standstill because I just will not do long-term tenants. We lost a building in 2015 due to a long-term tenant, so it's not my business anymore. So just to throw that all out, that maybe you guys, I know.
Just out of curiosity, are you planning to live on Acorn Street?
Yeah, I live there.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's going to become your house, okay.
I live there now. So I sold my townhouse in Pine Hill to move on to Acorn because it was important as a young family to be in the area. But the way that you afford a mortgage is to have a rental. So
Did your house on Acorn Street have a rental?
it does, but I can't rent it. So, it was rented, it had a permit up until the transfer of ownership. And it actually was they were renting the entire house and I'm just looking at renting the apartment above.
Okay, thank you for your comment.
I have one more thing to, these permits that we're gonna have, is it transferable? Because if we have an Airbnb permit, is that permit gonna be transferable? I can't, so we either have to be there or nobody can, the permit, no, the permit for access, let me be specific.
Access is specific to the vehicle, isn't it?
Access is specific to the property owner, as far as I understand.
Okay, so I couldn't say, well, I wanted to Airbnb the house out because I've already got plans.
I
actually asked that question at
Yeah.
Chuck today, and you can, we have two that are checking in during the time that we had to get their vehicle license.
No, but he's got a different permit than
Oh,
you.
yeah.
So I don't know the answer. The way it was presented was that you and Wendy needed access. No mention of rentals, so I believe the policy is for the property owner.
Okay, I just want to be specific because I've already got all my other plans made because I thought this
Yeah.
was, I thought I was going to be parking at the horse show grounds and that was unacceptable for me. And I'm just,
I think they can apply for that permit, but I haven't gotten true results.
so Janet, you're going to send me, we never received those
Yeah,
certified letters. I
I'll
would
find
like that. I would
copies
like
of it, yep.
I would like this receipts for that. And then,
I'm not saying I have the receipts. I said I sent a letter here and I sent a letter.
well,
in
without the
Virginia.
signed receipts, return receipts, it's not valid. You know that.
I do know that, but we tried to reach out to you and I will try
You got
to
my
find.
email, right?
I will try to find also where you said, speak to my lawyer.
I've got that.
Okay. Well, you just,
But
okay.
it's like, it's got nothing to do with it. He should have done the work, your contractor and your engineer should have done the work on the village property, village controlled property. I wasn't looking for anybody to come on our property to do work. And, if they needed to shore up the wall, clearly, that's acceptable, whatever they need to do. But in other places, they put new walls in. The repairs to this wall, they only put styrofoam in the joints, so that's all they did, which theoretically that works. But the walls falling down already, it's already bowed out. And that wall should have been straightened out back to the property line. It wasn't. That's why I kept asking about it. All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know who private is online. Did you have any questions for the board?
Lauren had questions.
Just I started private. Sounds like nothing from the caller. Lauren, did you have any questions for us?
Yes, so it sounds like you guys are having another public hearing on the proposed SDR regulations.
Yes. And that is going to be,
It is tentatively going to be Tuesday, January 3rd at 4 PM, but we need to make sure that the town board agrees with that.
Does Lauren know why? I mean,
I'm not sure.
well, I mean, it's only because we needed a quorum.
Right.
We didn't have,
Yes,
I mean, we're not holding a public hearing just because we want to hold a public hearing.
Did you catch that, Lauren?
No, I didn't.
There's no change as of right now in the proposed local law. There was a technical flaw in the hearing that was held Friday because the village did not have a quorum either in person or by video conference.
Okay. I think that was all the questions I had for right now.
thank you very much. Anybody else? Going once? Anything else from the board at all? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
For your time.